Hey guys, JD Nevels here, and one of these cars was in an accident and one wasn't. Can you tell the difference? Hey guys, JD Nevels here. So, if you couldn't tell the difference which car was hit, it wasn't this one, it was the black one. And why, I'll show you in a moment. But why I want to show you, why I want to show you this. This is a unique opportunity for me right here, where I have two cars. They're about the same age, about the same mileage, and in theory they should be worth about the same, right? So you want to check for the things like accidents, major accidents. You don't want to buy a car that's been in major accident. Like, you want to avoid that. One reason I'll give you for that, electrical issues. There are crap load of possible electrical issues, like this black car had actually. So that's why I was here. We were fixing it, so this opportunity came about, and I can show you exactly when I say watch for this or watch for that, body panels and this and that. So I'll put my gloves on and I'll show you exactly what you should avoid when buying a car. So pretty much what you're gonna end up doing is you're gonna be going around the car 360, and the first thing that you should have noticed so far are lights. Look how clear that is, and look how dark and shady that is. Okay, so maybe it was a rock, maybe not, but it gives you a clue, so you want to go investigate that. But there's another bigger clue about this car just from standing here and looking at it. Can you spot the difference? It's very subtle, but very small clue, but tells you everything you need to know, pretty much. There's other things that I'll show you. Okay, so let me show you. Look at the gap right here. Okay, so if you couldn't tell the difference, I'll show you exactly. Very small detail, but it tells you everything you need to know. And in case you haven't noticed, first thing, look at that. Clear light, shady. Maybe it was a rock, maybe not, but it gives you a clue. That's clue number one, that something was wrong. Clue number two, an even bigger clue, because look, right there. This is how it's supposed to look. Both equally same, look, same clarity, same everything. When you look here, one is clear, one is not. So that's a clue number one. Clue number two, that this car has been in a major collision. Look at that gap right there. So this gap right here, and then if you look at a car right here, look, almost flush right here, almost flush, versus right there. So what happens is, usually a good body shop would try to fix that, but this is a crappy job, and you can tell, right? So it's really hard to fix that part. Some body shops can't even fix it. Even if they try to, they can't. And then if you look, the next thing you're gonna look for a body panel gaps. Okay, so if you look right here, you can put a whole fingers, and then get smaller, almost touching. It's about the same here. Let me check the other side. Alright, so this side is pretty bad. So you can tell that there's a huge gap right here. Huge gap. And then it goes over, gets really small, almost touching here, and then it gets bigger right here again. Let me show you in a car that wasn't hit. Body panel. Look at that. Same all over the place. Same. They both aligned the same. Now this can be a little bit of a difference, but it should be approximately the same thing all over. If you look, see, same. Versus, see right here. Oh, let's see right here. See, look how big of a gap that is right here. Another thing, I can tell you right away that because of the color, it's not shiny enough. You can compare. This has been painted. This has been painted. And that's another thing you have to watch out for. When the car is dirty, that dust and everything on it can hide a little clues. So this right here is shiny. That's original color. It's the same all over. And this is the same color, but this body panel is different, and the hood is different. It's not as shiny enough. And then, if that wasn't enough, see, when they were masking, they forgot to take the tape out right away when they were painting this fender. So they put a masking tape around it, paint it, and they forgot to take it off. So later on, when they took it off, they took a little bit of paint with that. If you look right here, I knew it. See, look, there's a multiple layers. Like, look at that. And there's even difference between this and this. And this has been painted too, so yeah. Interesting. Right here. Same color. And one big thing you want to look, like I said, like when you step aside, when you're looking at the car, you want to compare the middle of the hood to the middle of the bumper. Because sometimes if like a corner was painted or something, there's a trick they can do. They can blend two sides so that you can see really the difference. So you can blend this here. But if they only did a side, right? You can tell from here, from middle of the panel to middle of the panel. So when you compare middle of the door to the middle of the bumper or a fender, and then door to door. It needs to be the same color. Sometimes I have to say sometimes, because bumpers are plastic, fenders and hoods are metal. Sometimes there's like a little bit of difference, but that's only for a front and back bumper, because they're plastic, and companies like Jeep, they get those bumpers from suppliers, so they don't paint themselves. They already get it pre-painted. So they just install it to the car, and then sometimes there's just a little bit of difference between color of the bumper and the color of the car, rest of the car. But it shouldn't be that major difference like this. This is just so wrong. And then moving around the car, very important. You want to check tires. You want to check two things on tires. First thing that you want to check manufacturer date of the tires, and you want to make sure that all four tires are equally the same tires. So not the one is Firestone, one is Michelin or whatever. You want to make sure that tells you a little bit about the owner of the car. So if he bought a 4 tires, he bought a set, so that means he cared about the car a little bit more. Okay, so this one, let me find it. Okay, 0216 right here. 02, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's 0216. So this is the second week of 2016. So these tires were changed recently, which is a good thing. Hopefully they're all 4 the same. And the last thing you want to check about tires, pattern. Is the tire evenly being used? So since this is pretty new tire, I don't think we can tell. But usually if there's something wrong, the outside of the tire would be in a worse shape than the inside, or it wouldn't be uneven, or inside than outside. So you want to make sure it's evenly being used. You may want to check the tire if you can tell. Brakes. Usually if the rim is dusty and it's like a black dust-ish thing, that means they have like a semi-metallic, which is not bad in itself as long as they're good size. I mean the thickness. But will squeak a little bit when it rains, and the longevity of those are not the same as ceramic ones, and they leave the dust, of course. So you want to check. Okay, see right here, rust, but it's been painted over, and you can tell it's been painted over, but it's rust. And you want to check the body gaps. Like you can tell right now, look at the difference between the color. You can clearly say, like, look, shiny. It is dirty, but look how shiny this is compared to that. You can tell the difference. Okay. So here, not that much. Pretty much aligns good, but rust. So when you take a look underneath the car, I'll bet you it's rusted too. And another little thing you want to look for, you want to make sure that these things are aligned, so they're same. It's a little trim pieces. And there's a little bit of gap right here that I don't like. Plastic. I see it's all wobbly. It's not a good sign. Okay, so you want to make sure the trim pieces are matched, that they're equal length, or not a length, the height. And you can tell, look at that, it's been scraped so many times. This is horrible. Alrighty, moving on. Next thing you want to do, you want to open the door, you want to close, you want to make sure that the door opens and closes no problem. If the door doesn't close, if there's like a hitting or something, like you can hear it, it's usually, even if it's not, it's always good to take a look to see if there's any damages to this thing, because if there's been an issue, trust me, this is the first thing they would be doing. And I can show you in my car, the previous owner, well, I figured out what happened later on, because the wind knocked the door out of my hand and literally went just whoosh, whipped it. So if you look here, look at that, you can see the damage. They were trying to adjust this, see? So whoever was doing this didn't know how to adjust the door, so they were adjusting this thing, and they did a crappy job at it too. Like, look at that damage. I forgot to say, if there's a safety bolt on or a nut, lug nut, you want to make sure you have a key for it. And another thing you want to check, these hinges, see if there are any wrench marks or anything like that. So it gives you an insight if the door was taken down or whatnot. And then also you want to check for rust, like corners and underneath the car, like on the doors. This is usually where the rust is. And right here you can tell there's been rust. Yep. So things like this you can take off from the price. So you can say, look, there's a rust pieces, I have to spend $300, $400, $500 to get it fixed. The door closes, opens, no problem. And again, you can see the signs of rust, which is pretty common for Jeeps these days. More rust on the bottom. Somebody's trying to hide it though. But you can tell it's bubbling. Tire is the same tire, and 0216, it's the same manufacturing date. It's a good sign. There's more rust, but body panel is aligned, so it was only front end collision. And when I say only, I'm being sarcastic. Yep. It's okay. Here's another thing you want to check right here on the gate to check for rust. This is pretty good. Nothing opens and closes, no problem. That's good. No major repairs. Usually people, when they're reversing, they'll hit a corner, so you can usually find right here, you can tell if it was painted or not. And alright, so I see there's a crack in the bumper. You can take that off the price. Check. See, signs of rust all over the place. Just to compare to my car, like look, nothing, clean. See, everything's clean. Other side, clean, no bubbling, nothing. And look at this plastic piece. It's firmly on. I'm moving it, but it's not moving. Not like wobbly like other side. Checking the tire. It's the same Firestone 0216. Good. Trim lines. Plastic piece. This side is not too bad. Checking hinges. It's all good. Nothing really. Doors are closing, no problem. Okay, so you see these markings? That's suspicious because they're telling me that I used to mark so they know exactly. So this was taken down. See these little marks? Body shops would do that so they know exactly where to put it back when they're putting it back, this hinge. So they know the location of the, and you want to make sure that these stickers are always on, including your manufacturer sticker. Some exposed wiring, which this is part of the reason why I told you never to buy a car that's been hit, especially front end collision. And again, let's compare it to the car that wasn't hit at the front. See, look, no exposed wires. This is oil because I just winterized my car. See, look, nothing. And the last, yeah, it's the same tire, which is good. And they don't have a safety lug nut. More rust. So on a paper, if you look on a paper, both of these cars are about the same age, same mileage, and they should cost about the same. But when you compare it like that, you definitely wouldn't pay the same price for this one as for that one. So everything that you find, there's a little pieces that take the price down, they knock it down. And that's just exterior. I can just imagine when I open the hood what I'm gonna find. Hey, if this video helped you out, let me know, give it a thumbs up, and as always, I'm bringing new content every Friday or so. I'm trying to be on schedule every Friday, so there's plenty of more tutorials and how-tos coming up, and just plain old good fun. So please subscribe and cheers.